we have seen how to develop the app using the Xcode and basic Objective-C concept. Now, Apple also provides some tools for you to create app very effectively and very fast without exactly knowing the Objective-C code. So, we will be seeing one of such tool from the Apple, which it says Storyboard. So we'll be exploring Storyboard tool and we'll try to create the same app using Storyboard. Storyboard is really very good. So Storyboard demo. Now we'll be creating a fresh new application in this folder and we'll be exploring this tool. So I click on Xcode, I say create a new project, I say single view project, next, I say Storyboard demo. You can use for iPhone right now, or you can create universal and say next. Go to the folder where you want to save this project and you say done. Now with Storyboard you will find that two file which gets created. Initially also it were created, but we didn't observe them because we were basically doing everything on through code. Now we'll start with the iPhone main Storyboard. Now when we use Storyboard, iMac or bigger screen makes more sense, so that you can play around with the entire application screen flow. But now if you are using a small machine like mine, MacBook Pro 13-inch, then we close the left hand side navigation window, and this is called tree structuring of the scene. Now everything out here is called scene. Okay, so it says view controller scene. Now by default view controller gets created. A view controller always gonna have a view associated with it as part of the MVC is concerned. Now first thing what we have learned was to change the background color of the view. Now if you see right inside, when you click on the view, it has a 6 tabs, right? Initially we always used to see 2 tabs. This is called owner tab. So UI view is the owner of this view class, and it's called property tab. So we're gonna consider the property tab. There's something called background color. You click on this, say other, a color palette comes and you can change the color. Oh wow, so user friendly, right? So I'll go with some colors. Okay, and now if you see at bottom you have 4 tabs. Click on the third one, it's called object library. Now I've started with UI label. Oh, I got a UI label, so I will drag the UI label, and the first UI label which I created was with my name. So I say Priyank Anka. Now when you click on label, the label property comes here. If you click on the view property comes. Now if you have an issue with layering stuff, you can always select the view from this tree structuring. So you can change the font size to, you can always change font from system to bold, or if you want to have custom, you can click, you can have whatever font you want. Very simple, right? So you can have size done for that. Bingo. Now suppose we want to, next step was we learned how to use images, right? So we're gonna import some images from a given folder. So we'll start with the simple images. So let's import the images. So I wanna say I need images, I need resources or tab icons. Images contains your iPhone, iPad, sample images, and then you have, we'll see the app icons, right? So apps. Okay, so we're gonna use images, launch images. I want to say images, tab icons. Okay, and I say add. Now I have the sample images, right? BG1. I wanted that. So now I need an image view. So I'll search UI image view. I'll place it. I want a full screen, so I will set its frame. I can change the layering on a go. So image view comes at the bottom. I select the image, say BG1. I can click on this. I can change the color by using the palettes. Wow, so user friendly, right? Bingo. Now I'll save it and I say run. Oh, I have to run it on the iPhone simulator, right? Oh my god, without writing a single line of code, I've got this output. Now I want to inject one more image view. So I'll say image view. I want to inject pumpkin, right? So you can have your pumpkin. Say, okay, the pumpkin is set. I say save, run. Now, now you want to make it interactive, right? The touch event. Now for that, you need to have a reference of this component on your project. So there's something called this editor button. You double click on this, single click, your editor screen gets divided into two parts, and it shows a view controller.m. Now I can close this, okay, and then now we want to declare some variable. So I want to use the references. So I want references of label. I want references of this. You can click, press your control key, drag it, and it shows the connection outlet. It's an outlet. All the UI components are called outlet. You can give the name, say first label. Always make sure it should be strong. Okay. I say connect. Similarly, you click on your image view, press the control key, and you say first image, connect. Bingo. Now if you go to your .m, in .m you have to override. Now you want to make it user interactive enable, right? So which one will be user interactive enable? Obviously your pumpkin. So inside your pumpkin you will be having user interaction enable key. So you selected that key. Now you have to override your touches began method. So you say touches began, and obviously you want to write touches ended. You will be creating UI touch object, or you want to extract UI touch object from your touches as we have done before. You want to have if touch dot view is equal to self dot first image. You want to say self dot first label dot hidden equal to yes, and similarly you want to say hidden equal to no. Let's see, is it work? Oh, brilliant. So we got our app running with a fair minimum line of code. Now this is the potential of Storyboard. So the golden rules, of Vue, you can avoid them by using a Storyboard. Just drag and drop the references of your concern and manipulate those Vue components depending upon your logic. Brilliant. Don't you think it's brilliant? Absolutely. Now, then we move ahead with a tab bar controller to get multi-controller environment. So I put this scene out here. Now I need to create a tab bar controller, right? So I say UI tab bar controller. So I drag the tab bar controller. Now when you drag the tab bar controller, automatically it has two connections. This is called segue. The connection is called segue. So a tab bar controller is obviously a fixed length controller or array of controllers, right? So it has two controllers. So if you see a tab bar controller has a relationship called view controllers onto the scene 1 and scene 2. Now suppose you want to change the color of background. So you select this, you select whatever color you want. Similarly, you want to click on this view and you select the another color. Wow, cool. Now as we are aware of, with tab bar you can change the tab icon and tab title. So when you click on this small box at the bottom, you will get tab bar item. So the first was home, and the icon which we used was home icon. The second one we used was the gallery, and the image we used was gallery.png. Bingo. Now you want to show a tab bar control. If you see this small arrow, you just drag it on a tab bar controller. This is called root flow start. So this segue is indicates the start of the flow. Now when you click on the run button, oh my god, flawlessly. You avoid writing that base controller, the setup of the window with the architect, the for loop, the switch case, what we have done. Oh my god, this is amazing. Now suppose I want to associate a tab bar controller with this third controller. It's very simple. Click on the tab bar controller, press your control key, drag your tab bar controller scene with the, it says relationship type. I want view controller. Remember in a code we used to write view controllers property as an NS array. So I say the third controller gets clear. Obviously as soon as you associate it, the tab bar item comes, right? Now you can use as the apps.png and you can say apps and you run it. Oh my god, so good. Now let's see table view. So you can now click on this scene, you can drag some UI labels on it, say UI label, you can drag a label on here, you can say focus it, paste it, you can always have label with a full size. You can have it as bold, you can set it alignment to center, you can change it text, say nimap info tag. You can have another label out here. Similarly in gallery you can create some image views, you can say UI image view, you can set the image view, you can say iPhone 1 and then you can run your app. So similarly you can try with other images and other UI component and you will say oh my god, this is amazing. Now suppose you want to remove one scene, so you don't want this scene, you select the scene, you say delete from your keyboard, bingo. Now you want to show that apps controller, right? You want a table view controller, so you want to see what is UI table view controller. So I say I want table view controller, I've created a table. Now suppose it needs to be embedded with navigation controller. So on your editor you have embedding option, say navigation controller. Automatically a navigation controller will come. Now tab bar controller should have a relationship with the navigation controller, right? Which says view controller. Now automatically there will be a tab icon coming here. You want to say apps icon. Now on a table view controller you have a navigation panel coming in, so you want to say apps, there's a prototype, cell, you can increase the size, you can select the cell style. We'll first start with the basic one. I say Priyank. So with basic you have only text label property, as you are aware of. Now when you select the cell, you have reusable identifier, remember? So I say identify cell. Now let's run the program and see. You will find that table got created, but there is no cell, because UI table view is a dynamic, gets configured using dynamic. You need to implement some callbacks. You need to mention how many sections are there. You need to mention how many rows, house cell, right? So now there's a need for me to create one controller class. So I'll go here, I say new file, I say Objective C class. Instead of making a UI view controller class, I'll say UI table view controller. So I can explore one more type of controller class. I say next, I say create. Now this UI list table view controller is extends from the UI view controller only. Now in normal UI view controller class, the base view is of type UI view. When you create a UI table view controller, the base view is of type UI table view. So you do not have to confirm UI table view delegate or UI table view data source method. Everything gets created on its own. If you see, now here number of section is told to be 0. We'll say 1. Suppose you say number of rows, you want to make it 10. Now here remember in the storyboard you have mentioned identified to be a small cell. So we written small cell. Now you have to bind this list view controller to the storyboard, so that when application runs, so Xcode comes to know, okay, this scene needs to be inflated using this controller. So we have to bind that. So let's go to the controller, which is say table view controller. Okay, when you go to select your table view scene, you will see on third type you will say is a type of UI table view controller. You gonna say it should be a type of, so you have bind list view controller as an owner of this particular scene. Now you run your app. So when you run your app, you will see it got inflated. So in order to make this scene work, it will go to this class and then implement all the method. Oh, wow, that's so cool. It is a wow factor, flawlessly implemented, right? Now suppose I want to change my cell to say custom, so I get a custom prototype. Now this cell contains one UI image view object. Okay, I increase the height a bit more, I reduce my image view and make it center line. I want one more UI label, so you can have as many labels depending upon your design. I say I have this label, right? Now cell will be, you can get the cell reference directly in your list view controller because of this cell getting created by, but I need the reference of this guy's image view so that I can set the data using a model property. So for doing that you have a tag property. A tag is a user defined indexing. So I'll say tag should be 1 for the image view and 2 for the label. So I can use this tag property to extract these references using cell. Now I'm ready with my view. Now I need to create a model. So I'll be creating a pure model class and a provider class. So I say ns object person. I'll create two properties. One defines the UI image, I say left icon, one property declaring now being string, I say ns string right content, right? No need to dialog because ARC. I'll create one provider class as part of the MVC which we have learned. I say person provider. Now person provider will have one method which returns the array as we are aware of. I say get persons. I'll import person.h. I will implement this method which says takes three array of three objects. So I will say ns mutable array persons equal to ns mutable array alloc init. I say return person. I'll create a person object, say p1. I say alloc init. I say p1 dot left icon equal to UI image name. We're gonna use tab icons only. Home dot png. I say p1 dot right content equal to string, say first row. I'll say persons add object p1. Similarly, I'll add p2, p3, p2, p2. I want to add p3. So I'm using hard-coded values. Now here I want to say gallery.png, say second row. I want to say apps.png. I want to say third row. So I've got my array. Now I'll go to the list view controller. Obviously I have to import the person provider. No need to import the cell because it's getting on. It will be inflated using the storyboard. So I want to say ns array person. Now you cannot call init and all. This will get automatically inflated. There's a method called viewDidLoad. When a view of a controller loads into the memory for the first time, this callback comes. So your scene has been loaded. Now you can initialize all your model. I say provider equal to person provider alloc init. You say persons equal to provider get person. So you got your image. Now number of rows will be what? Persons.count. You wanna extract person object from the array by indexing the array using index path.row. Remember when we used to do? So I got my model. Now I have to extract my image view from the storyboard using cell. So I say img view equal to cell. Now cell you've got using the storyboard. Now you can extract the cell using a tag property, and we have set the tag property to 1. Similarly, you're gonna have UI label. I wanna say label, UI label tag property 2. So I got all my models and view. Then I say image view dot image equal to person dot left icon. You wanna say label dot text equal to person dot right content. Now you run your app. Oh my god, everything is flawless. You made this app without writing huge amount of code. Now this is the potential of Storyboard. So if you see, we made you aware of the programming language first, and then we went on a tool to make your process much faster. Now we strongly recommend coding. So there is nothing called ideal solution. You should use Storyboard. You should use conventional programming. When your apps are very simple, like the one which you demonstrated, Storyboard makes it very effective way of making an app. Suppose you want to generate a prototype for approval to the client for the screen flow. This is the best tool to use. You can get your app done immediately without writing enough of code. Everything goes fine. But think of a complex situation where you want to make a mobile portal where you have hundreds of controller involved, many MVC design pattern, you have factory pattern, you have coordinator pattern, you have bridge patterns, you have facet pattern, singleton, everything involved with database, server side, where a lot of dynamic things are happening. Then writing the code is a much better option. So sometimes you have some static screens or some static element which needs to be preloaded. Storyboard can make your life easier. So both have advantages and disadvantages. So it depends upon your use scenario or use case. You have to pick up the right one. So I hope Storyboard tutorial gives you a jump start. You can explore the internet to get wide range of tutorials. But when it comes to the lower level customization, or you want to have a great gestures on your app, or you want to make a great UI explosive app, where user can have a lot of custom gestures, then you need to write the code. You need the view creation in your hand. So that's all about the Storyboard. The deployment remains the same. So I hope now for iPad you have to create your own scene again. So if you have 20 flow screen for the iPhone, you have to regenerate everything for the iPad as well. So if you see the porting when we did using code, it was very minimum, where only image name, frame size, font size and center were written. There only we were writing the manipulation code. Rest everywhere it was same. So I hope this set of tutorial will help you and can give you a jump start in this beautiful Apple ecosystem of iOS, and hope to see many great apps coming from your side. Thank you.